Welcome to the notes for lessons 3-5. And the verse for this chapter, He is before all things, and in Him all things hold together. So the Lord created the heavens and the earth, He's before all things, and all things hold together. The math works, and we are to do the math correctly. Um, Otherwise, everything falls apart for us. And if we're not in the Word, in Him, our lives fall apart. So, so you should be filling in the notes here for uh, this section. You can pause the video if you need to take a second to fill those in. You can abbreviate to similar figures, figures that have the same shape, but not necessarily the same size. Scale drawing is enlarged or reduced drawing that's similar to the actual object or plane. A scale is a ratio, a little fraction of distance in the drawing to the corresponding actual distance. So it's a fraction. The scale factor is the rate of the dimensions of the new image to the dimensions of the original figure. So scale and scale factor are similar. A dilation is a transformation uh, in which a figure and its image are similar. And a dilation can be something that gets larger or smaller. So that would be an example of a dilation. It holds its shape. It's still a rectangle, uh, but it gets larger or smaller, dilation. And there's other explanations for these, but that was just a quick explanation. We're going to do a couple homework problems to help you get through 1 through 14 on 285. There is a clue in this video. All right, we're gonna look at questions 2 and 4 on the homework, and I have them worked out here for you. um, excuse me. I have we have the two triangles drawn here, and I circle the similar situations. The 6 is on this side of the triangle, um, and the 10 is on this side. So I put 6 is to 10. So my direction is 6 is to 10, and my fraction over here, 6 is to 10. And then we're going to go the same direction with the green circle. 7 is to x, 7 is to x. And we do that because we want our proportions set up correctly. There are other ways to set this up, but you always have to be multiplying 6 times x and 7 times 10. And you'll get 6x equals 70 uh, any way you set it up. If you set it up right, it's 6x equals 70. Then you can see over here the math is done. I've done my long division, and my answer can either be 11.6 repeating or x equals 11 and 2/3. Again, you can pause the video if you want to look at the work for this. I'm going to move on to number 4. Okay, 4, again, I've circled in blue 3.9 is the 4.2, and again, you could write that first or second as long as you go in the same direction. When I mean by same direction, I'm going this way with my blue. I'm going to do the same thing with my green. I have 4.1 is to x. Go the same direction. If these arrows here crisscross, like one's going that way and one's going this way, then you're setting it up wrong. They have to go the same direction. Okay, so I have the math done here. I'm going to just do bow tie or crisscross applesauce, cross multiply. I have my multiplication over here that I've done on my paper, and then that brings me to this here, and then I need to divide by 3.9. I got a one-step equation, divide by 3.9. Again, my division's over here. Now this division is a little bit longer than normal, but that's because you've learned this in the past, and they're trying to make the questions a little bit more difficult. And x is approximately 4.4. Notice they rounded their answer over here. Okay, so the clue to the video is now going to be presented, and the clue is clue is this math won't kill you, it will make you stronger. Your division's going to be longer. So that's from the Kelly Clarkson song, I believe it is. This math won't kill you, make you stronger. Your division's gonna be longer. So you can add to that if you would like. That's the clue for this video. I apologize, but we gotta make this stuff interesting somehow. Well, it is interesting, but you've done this in the past, and there's the clue, either way. Moving on to the next set here, 6 and 10. Now, in these questions here, they can be a bit confusing. I think this X is from the previous question, so we'll ignore that. So these questions can be a little bit confusing, but the best way to attack these is to draw the two shapes. We have a large square drawn here and the small square drawn here, and they're labeled appropriately. Notice it's X and 4 for the little one, and 10, and not 4, but 4 plus 2 is 6. So this whole side is 6. That's represented here. That's the best way to attack these. And then you have a pretty straightforward answer here. Again, we're doing some long division. It's not going to kill us. It'll make us stronger. And we get 6.6 repeating. Again, X equals 6 and 2/3. 6 repeating is 2/3 as a fraction, and we should memorize that and know that. I'm going to move on to the next one, number 8. And again, I have two triangles drawn there. So that separates the two questions. So I draw my two triangles separately. You got to think of this as two triangles. 12 is to 8. 4 plus 4 is 8. As X is to 4, then you have a quick setup. Again, I'm going the same direction. My fractions are 12 is to X as 8 is to 4. You can do this differently. You could go the opposite way, but I don't want to confuse people. So I could go X is to 12 as 4 is to 8. I would get the same answer as long as my arrows are going the same direction. I'm still going to multiply X times 8 and 4 times 12. Maybe I should set that one up. I could go X is to 12 as 4 is to 8. Still going to multiply the same components, X times 8 and 4 times 12. So when we crisscross applesauce it or cross multiply and divide, I did a little bit of reducing here, made my life a little easier. Or you could go ahead and do 12 times 4 is 8. 8 divided by, or 48 divided, no, sorry. 12 times 4 is 48. Divided by 8 is 6. Still going to get 6 for an answer. And you could also done this really quick up here and say, well, 8 is to 4. That's dividing by 2. So I'm going to divide 12 by 2, and then this is going to make a 6 here. So that was last year. Okay, this year they make it a little bit more difficult by doing the long division. And again, the long division is not going to kill you. It's going to make you stronger. It'll make you a better math student. Okay, moving on to number 10. Martin has a scale model of a car. A model of a car. The scale is 1 to 32. So the model to the actual is 1 to 32. 1 inch is the same as 32 inches in the actual. If the model is 6.7 inches long, how long is the actual car? So we're setting up model on top and the actual car on the bottom. And over here, we're going to put 6.72 inches because it's the model is. So I'm going to put the model on top here, and then the car is going to be my variable, which I've defined over here. So yes, as a word problem, we're using the Finney 5 here. Looks a little bit different than before. So we have our variable defined. We have our setup. We're now going to solve by cross multiplication. Okay, so we're crisscross, and this is nice because it's just, we have a 1 here. We don't have to worry about that. We just multiply and we get 216 inches, and then answer the question. The question answer is the actual car is 216 inches long. And then over here I have a quick checking the proportion. If I cross multiply, I get 216 equals 216. I'm happy because I have the right answer. So moving on to the next question. Um, this one's kind of a neat question. You could actually use this in your life, apply it to your life if you're ever cutting down a tree. Angie is using a similar triangle to find the height of a tree. A stick that is 5 feet tall casts a shadow that is 4 feet long. The tree casts a shadow that is 22 feet long. How tall is the tree? You might want to know how tall a tree is, so when the tree falls and your house is over here, that it doesn't hit the house. So if you know the tree is a certain length and you know this length from the ground, you might be able to cut the tree down and it won't hit the house. Okay, that's very useful. Okay, so Angie is using similar triangles. So it doesn't look like a triangle at first, but what happens is you draw the stick and you draw the shadow. Shadows are on the ground. And then you make a triangle out of it by connecting the top of the stick to the end of the shadow. And that, they tell you, the stick's 5 feet long and it casts a 4-foot shadow. Again, the tree, we don't know what the tree's height is. We're going to define the tree's height as x. We do know it casts a shadow, and it makes a triangle. They're similar right triangles because the sun is shining down. Oops, the sun is shining down, and it creates the same angles of the shadows. So these angles are all the same for both shadows, and that's pretty cool because he holds all things together, and it all works out because the math works, because God created the heavens and the earth. He set the stars in the sky. Our sun is a star in the sky. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, we set up a proportion. 5 is to, well, look how I did this one. 5 is to x, as 4 is to 22, and I have it set up here. Okay, and then over here I reduced. You don't have to reduce. I just reduced so my division isn't so long, because I'm not letting it kill me. Again, excuse the song reference, but most people know that song. So, not talking about real killing. So, let me just say that. Alright, so moving on here. We're going to crisscross. Our crisscross is here, and now we've got to applesauce it by dividing, or cross-multiply, divide. We have a pretty decent division problem here. 2 into 55 is 27.5. And the tree, I'm going to answer the question. So x equals 27.5 feet. So that means the tree is 27.5 feet tall. And obviously, if your house is, say, 25 feet away, you're not going to cut that tree down, because that tree, even though it looks like the shadow is longer, probably could have drawn this a little higher, it would be like that, excuse me, it would fall and hit your house if it was 25 feet away. Okay, so division didn't kill me on that. It wasn't too bad. Let's get stronger. Let's get better at this. I believe this is the last question. A map has a scale of 1 to 25 miles. Okay, so 1 inch is the map, and the 25 is miles. That's the actual. So we have the map on top here versus the actual numbers on the bottom. And over here, we want to know how far they are away on the map. How far are they away on the map? So x equals the map distance over the actual distance, which they tell you is 175 miles apart. And notice that the units match up. Inches is to miles as inches is to miles. Very important that they match up. We're going to crisscross and applesauce this one. I didn't even do the long division on this because I know that 7 quarters, 7 25-cent pieces make $1.75, so I kind of did that in my head. The two cities are 7 inches away on the map. I got to remember what you're answering here. How far are they on the map? Don't put miles here. So that's our answer. And a quick check would be would be 1 is to 25 as 7 is to 175, and if I cross multiply, and I know 7 times 25 cents is $1.75, so that's going to check out. 175 equals 175. Check. I'm happy because I got the answer. So that was the last question in the video. And hopefully you are watching it, and you can comment. Please comment on the video and have the clue for class tomorrow. All right. God bless you. Have a good night. Peace on earth. Peace of Christ be with you. Amen.